This is my audience, Lisa Dryden and Lee Green. I, Kim, take you, Brad, to be my lawfully wedded husband, to have and to hold, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, as long as we both shall live. These are the vows that I took on my wedding day, and may be the vows that some of you take on yours. And if there weren't enough decisions to be made before you get married, in some states you will have to make another, whether you would want a covenant or traditional marriage. I got my sources from the Louisiana Covenant Law, Bill number 756, and an About.com marriages article called Louisiana's Covenant Marriage by Sherry and Bob Stridoff. A covenant marriage is an agreement between two people that are making a commitment and that is lifelong. And a traditional marriage is an agreement that, if breached, can be easily or fairly easily terminated. The Louisiana Covenant Law states that a covenant marriage is entered into by one male and one female who understand and agree that the marriage between them is a lifelong relationship. Before entering into a covenant marriage, you must recite an acknowledgement on how to preserve your marriage. An example of preserving your marriage would be, if problems were to arise, you would go to marriage counseling. Also, before entering the marriage, you must be counseled on the purpose of marriage. The only way this covenant marriage can be terminated is through adultery, abuse, abandonment, or a lengthy separation. A separation of 2 years is mandatory if you decide that you would want a divorce. Also, you would have to go to counseling. In a covenant marriage, your right to a no-fault divorce is waived. With these strict laws, people say the reason for the covenant marriage is to prevent divorce. According to Sherry and Bob Stridoff, authors of an article called Louisiana's Covenant Marriage, all you need to enter into a traditional marriage is a marriage license, 2 witnesses, and have a state licensed agent perform the ceremony. A traditional marriage is more casual and it's a shorter process. You also have a right to a no-fault divorce after 6 months of being married. An example of this would be you or your spouse would want a divorce for no major reason. Remember, in the covenant marriage, you waived your right to a no-fault divorce. People feel more comfortable with the traditional marriage because it's easy to get out of. A covenant marriage is a more in-depth and stricter process. The traditional marriage is faster to get a divorce, and you do not have to have a reason why. You have any questions?
Yes. Other than Louisiana, what other states have this law?
Arkansas, Kansas, and Arizona. And Georgia, along with 20 other states, have tried to pass this bill. Do you have a question?
How many people use a covenant versus a traditional marriage?
In Louisiana, when they passed the bill in 1997, the first year, only 1% of people that were getting married used the covenant.